I don't want to work. I just want to bang on this mug all day. Is a line from what show?
The Office.
That is correct. Michael Scott. It's hour two of the game after work. Mitch Fortner, Troy Coverdale, AJ Shaw. Coming up in a few moments, it'll be your opportunity to call into the show and play Stump the Shaw. That's coming up at 5:25. So as we take a break after this segment, that's when I'll ask for a caller, that first caller to call in and says, hey, I want to play Stump the Shaw. You get to play Stump the Shaw. Just by calling in and playing, you win the Stump the Shaw prize pack. And it has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Earbuds, koozies, a t-shirt, golf balls. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. Free frozen custard from Culver's is in there. Whole bunch of stuff is yours just by playing. But if you Stump the Shaw, you get more than just the parting gifts.
Some of that stuff in there is almost as nice as the tickets, if you ask me.
I mean, if you sold everything in that bag that you get. By the way, the bag also, the bag that everything comes in is like, it's a waterproof bag you bring with you if you're going on boats or like a float trip or something like that. Yeah, it's all very cool stuff. So maybe it does add up to the price of the tickets.
By the way, SportsCenter is now going through some of the notable holdouts in Cowboys history. Zeke Elliott, Emmitt Smith. So, yeah, very interesting. Zach Martin. But anyways, you were saying, I apologize.
No, you go ahead. Give us the list. Is there more?
Oh, Zach Martin. I'm still waiting for more to come in here.
Decided he wants to taunt you before he has to deal with.
Don't worry, we'll have AJ shut the TV off so he doesn't get any more answers or any more ideas.
The TV gives me zero answers.
But the grand prize is 2 tickets to the home opener August 31st against UT Martin. We'll get there at 5:25. The phone number, by the way, is 785-537-1350. So get ready to call in.
You get to talk to the Shaw on the phone, too. So, yeah, you get to meet the Shaw on the phone.
Well, that's just thrilling. I mean, I'd much rather just play in a game, but.
Worth the price of admission, right?
Well, today's prediction is all the shows leading up to kickoff. We're at show 6 since we've started this gimmick. And so we're doing 20 predictions in 20 shows. I wouldn't, maybe these aren't necessarily predictions. It's just a thought of the upcoming season and how you look at the season from the preseason point of view. And today's question is, what do you think is K-State's trap game for the 2024 season? AJ, in what order are we going today?
So you will be going first, Mr. Fortner. I will be going second, and Mr. Coverdale will be going third.
All right, so in my opinion, I don't see K-State's schedule lined up with a whole lot of trap game opportunities. Now, do a quick Google search here. What does Google's AI overview call a trap game? A trap game is a game where a highly ranked team plays against a lesser opponent and is expected to win, but instead loses. The term can have different definitions, but some say it occurs when a good team loses to a bad team because they are focused on a bigger game against a better opponent the following week. In this scenario, the good team might not take the bad team seriously. Google's AI overview, I think you did a pretty good job on that definition. One, I think, outweighs the other possibilities, and it's week 1 out of the gate. Now, as I go to Twitter, we post all the questions on Twitter at the game KMAN, and some of the responses are Colorado. We have Tulane. Cole chimes in with my answer. That is BYU. And then he says, I was convinced by John Kurtz on his latest pod. I have not listened to John's pod, but I'm sure we'll have a lot of the same reasons why this is the trap game. Well, for one, what's the next game? That next game is Oklahoma State. A home game, a big home game against a top 25 opponent. A team that, Chris Kleiman hasn't had the best results against on the road, but at home, had that blowout shutout 2 years ago, and Will Howard's being carried off the field. That's a pretty pivotal game for the Big 12 race early on in the year. But before that is a trip to BYU, a place that K-State hasn't been to in decades. You're playing at altitude. And by the way, BYU isn't expected to be very good. They're bottom 6 of the Big 12 preseason poll. They were a 5-win team last year that only won 2 games in Big 12 play, and they did not beat a top 25 opponent. Now, a big difference for BYU this year is they have Gary Bohannon at quarterback, the former Baylor Bear for 3 years, and then he was the starting quarterback for the South Florida Bulls. And by the way, that team was atrocious. There's not a lot of directions you'll point and say, yeah, BYU should be really good this year. I mean, they got to rethink things on the offensive line. They were one of the worst in the country in getting pressure on the quarterback and getting sacks. And you may not know a whole lot about BYU because K-State didn't play them last year. So this is a new opponent for the new era of K-State football and the new era of the Big 12. There's a whole bunch of opponents in here that K-State hasn't played, what you could probably say is in a very long time, like even Colorado. That hasn't been played in nearly a decade and a half. Arizona State, Cincinnati, those are all new opponents this year. It's a lot different, but it's the first of 2 games as well that'll be played at altitude. BYU is definitely an opponent we will not see right here, right now, as a tough opponent. But when you go on the road, really anything can happen. The big factor is it's on the road. Big factor that it's on the road. And by the way, it's also coming after an Arizona game where your schedule's already messed up. You're going to have an extra day to prepare for it. But Arizona's going to be a physical game, a game where that can go in any direction. So where will K-State be mentally and physically after the non-con slate? After a Fox College Football Friday, prime time on a Friday night, and 8 days later you're playing at BYU with the pressure on as one of the top teams preseason in the Big 12. I think this is a tailor-made trap game for K-State in 2024.
It's hard not to argue against BYU. I think everything you said there is accurate. You're coming off a week against Arizona. You have a game where you're playing Oklahoma State the next week. That's going to be a big game, a possible top 25 matchup for sure.
Huge.
BYU, to me, is definitely K-State's trap game. You also have the 3-game stretch in November at Houston, at home against Arizona State, at home against Cincinnati. 3 games that you should win. One of those games in there could be a little worrisome because K-State's never played Arizona State, or it's been a while. I can't remember the last time. Have they ever played them? I can't remember.
Yeah, the Holiday Bowl in 2002.
Okay. So, yeah, it's been several years. Cincinnati, you haven't played them since they moved to the Big 12. But I think it's very hard not to say BYU is your trap game, so I'm going to go with BYU. I think that's pretty clear cut for your trap game.
Troy Coverdale.
Mine taking a different tack. And while, yes, we discussed whether or not that this was a team that could be ranked, say, over in Iowa at the back end of the top 25 going into this season, or what their ranking actually falls to be. They are in the AP poll here to begin the year. But I think it's a trap game because of what follows it, and that is the road game at West Virginia this year, to me, is a trap game. Kansas is what follows the next week. And all of the attention that is going to be put on, once again, a winning streak. And, by the way, for good measure, you have to tip your cap. Yes, while we can laugh at where Lance Leipold is placed in the CBS Sports coaching rankings of the Big 12's coaches, he does have them improved. Their talent has begun to improve. They are going to be a better ball club this year. Yes, Jalen Daniels, that is the wild card for Kansas. But to me, it's because of those things that a lot of attention is going to be on Kansas 2-3 weeks out, which is what concerns me about going all the way out to West Virginia to have to play a game against a team that may find themselves at times kind of riding that roller coaster this year of being in the poll, out of the poll, in the poll, out of the poll. And it's not a knock on them. They just happen to be in those slots, 20 to 25, where a loss or they stub their toe even a little bit against someone, and they're going to find themselves penalized for it, and the hot product will make its way into the poll. And I think that it will become easy to overlook West Virginia if we're not careful. And I say that from a fan base standpoint. I say that from just even our standpoint sitting here. But more importantly, making sure that you keep your team focused with that back-to-back is going to be the challenge, I think, that faces Chris Kleiman and his staff.
The West Virginia game is one that I had in mind. You're going on the road. You got KU the next week. I definitely considered it. I couldn't put it over BYU. Like, BYU I looked at as like the major trap game, like if it were to rank them. Mm-hmm. I looked at West Virginia as like a minor trap game because there is the rivalry aspect in the next week. I do agree with you. It depends on where West Virginia is at the time. We may very well look at it much differently as a trap game once that game does arrive. Is West Virginia any good? Keep this in mind. West Virginia has quite a crazy run in his first two-thirds of the season. You're hosting Penn State. 2 weeks later, you're at Pitt. So you have two rivalry-type games in the first 3 weeks. That's your non-con. 2 Power 5 programs in your non-con. Then you host KU. Then you're at Oklahoma State. Then you host Iowa State. And then you host K-State. So many of these big games are at their home field. West Virginia could be anywhere, from 5-2 to 3-4 to begin the year. Mm-hmm. They could be all over the place. So if they are a 3-4 or 4-3 team heading into that week against K-State and KU's on the horizon, there you have yourself a trap game. I just don't see West Virginia at that point when K-State rolls into town to have a losing record. They could easily have one, but I think they're a little bit better than that. Heck, other than K-State, does West Virginia have the second best three-headed monster when it comes to a running attack? You have Garrett Green, who's a dual-threat guy. He's really good on his feet. We saw that a couple of years ago. And then at running back, Jaheim White and C.J. Donaldson, they can also go out there and tear it up. I don't think they're as talented as K-State is, but let's take notice of that. But that's a very interesting thought. I can't say for right now how high of a trap game. It feels like a minor one for K-State, West Virginia. But as a team that's top half of the Big 12 preseason poll, and I'm a little higher on than most, I couldn't go West Virginia. But I do respect the thought. But I got to go BYU.
I could see with me, West Virginia feels like, again, it's one of those teams like they could be really, really good. They could be really, really bad. With BYU, barring any miracle, I just don't see BYU being a team that could be a threat this year in the Big 12. And again, going into that game against Oklahoma State, that's going to be a top 25 matchup. Regardless, it's going to be a top 25 matchup. And K-State's main focus is probably going to be Oklahoma State. You have an extra day because of the Friday night game. You're going to Provo. You're going to be playing in altitude. It's your first time playing there. That's why I see BYU as a trap game.
I really wonder where BYU will be record-wise when they play K-State, because here's their non-con. They have Southern Illinois, who K-State played a couple of years ago.
Who they'll beat.
They'll be FCS top 10, so we'll see if there's any sort of challenge there.
I think they'll beat them.
And then they're on the road at SMU, who's now in the ACC, and at Wyoming, where Texas Tech lost last year. That's potentially a pretty rocky road until you get to K-State.
Southern Illinois will be a challenge, but I think they could beat them.
The only reason that Southern Illinois game that K-State played a couple of years ago was a challenge is because Skylar Thompson got hurt.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He got hurt in that second quarter, and then Southern Illinois had a big run in that second quarter, and K-State had trouble moving the football. Now, again, that was a couple of years ago. Is there really any comparison at this point? But when that K-State game rolls around in late September, and it's just their second home game. That's a home fan base that's ready to see some football. So expect a raucous environment as well, which is also it's the Big 12 kickoff for both teams.
Quick trivia question. Where is Southern Illinois located?
Like the town?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You want to take a guess, Troy?
Southern Illinois?
Yeah.
Dang it, and I know it. I because I want to say Edwardsville, and I know that that's not right because there's the branch that's in Edwardsville.
Yeah. Is it Carbondale?
Yeah.
You looked it up.
What? No.
I didn't want you
I
to
did
look
not.
it up. Yes, you did.
I've just been clicking around. I haven't been typing. Have you heard me typing?
Sure. You looked it up.
I see. That's impossible. How do you look something up without typing? I didn't say anything, did I?
You typed when I was looking at Troy.
Did you see my hands going? You can see my hands, right?
I think you looked it up.
Oh, I can't believe you.
My grandparents went to SIU, so Carbondale, Illinois, down south.
Shout out to the Shaws. Is it Shaws?
Yes.
Is it your
Yes.
dad's folks? What about your mom's side? Where'd they go to school?
My grandfather didn't go to college. He went to World War II. My grandmother went to Northwestern.
A lot of brainiacs in that family, huh? Speaking of brainiacs, we do have one in studio, and his name is A.J. Shaw. The Shaw, as he likes to call himself now. Let's take a break. If you want to play Stump the Shaw and win K-State football tickets, call in right now. First caller gets to play Stump the Shaw. The phone number is 785-537-1350. Again, just by calling in and playing, you get the Stump the Shaw prize pack. If you stump the Shaw, you're winning 2 K-State football tickets. Again, the phone number is 785-537-1350. It's your last chance. Stump the Shaw is next.
Miss part of the show?
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Really? Check it out on demand at 1350kman.com. You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
All right, hour number 2 continues. Mitch, Troy, AJ, it's time to play Stump the Shaw. We have a caller standing by to take on the Shaw, and AJ has won 3 straight games. Nobody has won. Well, we have had one winner of the tickets. We got another pair to give away. Could it be Matt from Manhattan? What are you up to today, Matt?
Oh, just got home from work and getting ready to do some chores around the house.
Right on. Well, before you do those chores, let's win some tickets. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, before we get this thing started, have you listened to Stump the Shaw before? Do you know how it works?
Once. So, kind of.
All right, well, we'll explain as we go. But, guys, it's time to play Stump the Shaw with Matt from Manhattan. Stump the Shaw. All right, Matt and AJ, our first round is leading off. This is an opportunity to gain an advantage over your opponent. I'm going to give you a question, and you're going to give me answers alternating. Matt goes first, and AJ will just keep going back and forth until somebody misses. Sound good to you, Matt?
Sounds good.
All right, Matt, you're going to start us off. Here we go. Leading off. All right, the question is, Matt, since 1947, 22 college football teams have been preseason ranked number 1 in the AP poll. Name them. Go first, Matt.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is correct. AJ.
Nebraska.
Nebraska, correct. To Matt.
Alabama.
Correct. AJ.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, correct. Matt.
Georgia.
Georgia is correct.
Stole my pick there. Ohio State.
Ohio State, correct. 3-3. Matt.
Penn State.
Penn State is correct. AJ.
Michigan.
Michigan, correct. 4-4. Matt.
Florida State.
Florida State is correct. AJ.
Florida.
Florida is correct. Matt.
Miami.
Miami of
Florida.
correct. Just got to be,
Picky.
specific,
I
right?
thought about Miami of Ohio for a second, but I decided to go with Florida.
Oh, I'm sure we all did. AJ? 6-5, Matt. AJ.
Let's see here. Texas.
Incorrect. Texas has never been preseason ranked number 1 in the AP poll. That was the one answer I knew I was going to get, and it was going to end the round.
Wow.
So, Matt, what that means is you get an opportunity for one more answer to take a 2-point lead.
Let's go with LSU.
LSU is correct. 7-5, Matt. Ending the trivia round. So here's the other answers you guys did not get. Auburn, Clemson, Iowa, Ole Miss, Pitt, Purdue, Syracuse, Tennessee, UCLA, and USC. That's going to do it for leading off. Now we go to the trivia round where we have 6 questions. The first round is 1 point, then 2 points for the next 2 questions, 3 points for the last 2 questions. You're each picking each other's category, then the question to answer, and you each have a pass. All right, here are the categories. I'll say them slowly. Athlete cameos. New Wildcats. 2003, Spelling Bee, Quadruple Double, and the listener question. All right, Matt, you get the opportunity to either pick for AJ or answer first.
I'm going to pick for AJ first.
All right, what category would you like for AJ?
Spelling Bee.
All right, Spelling Bee, this is for 1 point. It's time for the trivia round. I'm going to miss listening to this music. All right, Spelling Bee for AJ. 1 point. AJ, former Duke basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski has how many Z's in his last name?
I believe 2.
2 is correct. 1 point for AJ. 7-6, Matt. KRZYZEWSKI.
I'm glad I didn't have to spell that.
E-I-E-I-O.
All right, AJ, you're picking for Matt.
Athlete cameos.
Boy, I know AJ is just relieved that Matt did not pick that right out of the gate.
Right.
All right, Matt, for 1 point. What quarterback made a cameo in the 1998 film There's Something About Mary and delivered the classic line, "I'm in town to play the Dolphins, you dumbass"?
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is correct for 1 point.
Oh, wow. That was out of left field.
I knew the minute he said it, he got it right. I don't know many movies, but I know that one.
So that was a complete guess, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Matt gets a point back. It's 8-6 AJ. We go to 2-point questions. The categories left, Matt: New Wildcats, 2003, Quadruple Double, and the listener question. What are you picking for AJ?
Listener question.
All right, the listener question for 2 points. AJ, in baseball, what has to occur to cause a ground rule triple?
Pass.
He passes to Matt for 2 points.
Pass.
Passes right back. 2 points on the line for either player. What has to cause a ground rule triple?
The runner's already on his way to third by the time the runner's on his way to third as the ball, and then the ball bounces over the fence as he's on his way to third.
Judges? Troy, do you know what the answer is?
Believe that he has to be between second and third when the ball bounces over the wall.
You both are wrong.
Okay.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
The points go to Matt. A successful pass right back.
I am pissed off.
Have you ever heard of a ground rule triple?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so what has to happen is when a player attempts to use his hat to stop a ball on the ground,
Whoever that listener
or
is,
in
I
the
hate
air.
you.
I thought that was a phenomenal question.
I hate that listener.
That is a
I
great
despise
question.
that listener.
That is a great question.
Whoever that is, thank you.
That's one of those that I am literally reaching for my handy dandy rule manual.
I will tell you who gave us that question after the
Okay.
game is over. All right, Matt leads 10-6, and AJ is picking for Matt.
I am so mad right now. New Wildcats.
All right, new Wildcats for 2 points, Matt. Last week, new track and field assistant coach Tara Davis Woodhall won the Olympic gold medal in the long jump. She also owns the NCAA long jump record that she set in 2021 while at what school?
Yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry?
Southern California, USC.
That is incorrect. The correct answer, Texas. She was a Texas Longhorn. I think technically the game is over. As I tally up the points here, and AJ's already looking steamed, but we're going to play the last round for fun.
No, I don't want to play the last round.
Well, Matt, you want to pick the last category for AJ? We have 2003 and quadruple double.
Quadruple double.
All right, AJ for 3 points. What Houston Rocket recorded an 18-point, 16 rebound, 11 blocks, and 10 assist quadruple double against the Bucks in 1990?
Hakeem Olajuwon.
That would be correct.
Oh, yeah.
10-9, Matt, with one question to go. Matt, here's your last question for some style points. Who scored K-State's first touchdown in the 2003 Big 12 championship game?
Aaron Sproles. I know. That's right.
That is incorrect. He scored the third touchdown. The first touchdown was scored by tight end Brian Casey. But guess what, Matt? I'm going to emphatically put my pin down on the clipboard and say, Matt from Manhattan, you have stumped the Shaw. Congratulations on the victory.
Well, thank you.
How nervous were you? Were you nervous at all playing?
I had absolutely zero faith that I was going to win.
Guess what? A baseball question for the second time has tripped up AJ to
Shut up.
lose
I
again.
think this is the definition of a trap game.
Boy, AJ could see the finish line. He was almost to the end of the road.
I did. Just can we move on?
And he was looking at that last game. He was wondering the curveball is going to throw him. But no, the listener threw a curveball this week and stumped AJ. So congratulations, Matt. You have won the 2 tickets to see K-State football August 31st against UT Martin. We're going to go anyway. Did you already have tickets, or is this now you're officially going?
I do have tickets, but now I get to bring my daughters.
That's
there
awesome.
It is.
That's
well,
awesome.
now I'm not as mad that I lost.
Well, there you go.
They're going to be super happy when I go inside now.
All right, so here's how this works. Matt, you won. So AJ's going to pick up in a moment. He's going to get your information. We're going to have a goodie bag for you, the Stump the Shaw prize pack. You'll have to pick up your tickets at a later time, but we'll make sure to be in contact with you to get your tickets. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day. What chores do you have to do?
Oh, I just got to do a little bit of mowing and some weed eating.
Well, we're getting to the tail end of the mowing season, but I know exactly what you mean. So how big is the yard? Are you pushing or are you riding?
Pushing. My riding mower is actually broken right now, so I got to do some push mowing.
Well, I hope you don't have to mow Central Park. So,
No.
all right, Matt, good work today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead and pick that up, AJ. Thank you to Matt from Manhattan. He stumps the Shaw. And so you know what that means. AJ is going to sulk for the next week. He's going to be hurting. There's no more bragging around the radio station that he is victorious, that Shaw is back. Maybe that's next week, which I have hopefully something a little fancy, a little fun, a little surprising in store for the last game.
Listener question, you said you were going to tell us who delivered the listener question.
Yeah, it was Paul.
Nice.
RIT guy. Paul, he told me last week, he's like, did you know there's a ground rule triple? And I said, no, I had no idea. I did not know that existed.
Nice.
He's like, yeah, apparently it's when the player uses his hat to catch the ball or knock it down or whatever. So I looked into it. It's absolutely true. That is a Major League Baseball rule.
That is tremendous.
And AJ, didn't you say you'd never heard of a ground rule triple?
Can we just move on?
After you answer the question.
No, I don't want to answer the question. I want to move on.
Did you hear? I just told
Yeah,
Troy.
I hate him right now, and I never want to talk to him again. I despise him.
That'll take care of it.
I despise him right now.
I love it when AJ loses. He gets so hot.
I despise
You're
Paul
steaming.
Parker. I'm pissed. I'm pissed because you gave him easy questions, and I knew you were going to do that.
What?
Because you
Easy
cheat.
question?
You cheat.
I cheat. You came into my office earlier today, and you were like, so you're going to make him easier? You're going to make him harder? I'm just like, listen, it's just luck of the draw. I never go into a game looking to make the questions easier or harder. I just do a little research or
Nobody
whatever's
knows
on my
what
mind.
the hell a ground rule triple is.
That's what makes it Stump the Shaw worthy, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, Paul, I hate you. I hope he's out there listening because I despise him right now.
I went into that question thinking 50-50.
But in all seriousness, I am happy that Matt gets to take his daughters to the game now. That at least makes it a legitimate victory.
That he has daughters?
No, that he gets to take his daughters to the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm already irritated as it is, so don't try to...
Well, it lessens the blow. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because if it was, Matt from Manhattan who, single guy that didn't need the tickets, he was going anyway, he's just going to give them, maybe sell them online or something, yeah, I would be hot too. But no, he's actually going to be using the tickets, which is pretty cool. Does that mean do you still want to play next week?
I mean, you already lined something up, so who cares at this point? I guess we got to play.
All right.
I can't go out a loser. But I'm not happy right now because of that stupid question. I'm mad at Paul, and I hate Paul right now.
Bro, you're not mad at Paul. You're mad you missed a baseball question.
No, I'm mad at Paul.
It's probably a good thing that I'm not in tomorrow morning.
So should we even talk baseball tomorrow? Or next segment, I mean? So I wanted to talk a little Royals and get everybody up to date on standings and all that.
In all seriousness, we probably need to take a break.
All right, let's take a break. Maybe AJ will cool down a little bit. Boy, I'm just glad I'm not going to be hearing in the hallways. So did you hear the Shaw one again? Yeah, man. Ugh.
I am still the Shaw.
All right. Let's take a break. Royals and Ask Us Anything. It's all coming up as we wrap up. You're listening to The Game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Walker already struck by Noel. Ball is loose. Noel comes out of the pack. Noel dribbles. And he lays it in. The Wildcats are headed for the Elite Eight.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
I've always said they need to play more death metal at MLB games.
This is me letting out some frustration.
You're going to start headbanging, start moshing yourself.
In all seriousness, I'm not even that mad anymore. I'm over it now.
Well, you've lost before, but it had been a little while. Been a month.
I got to shave the beard now.
Oh, is that a thing?
It's a superstition. Steve Cishek used to be a pitcher for the Cubs. Every time he'd give up a home run, he'd shave his beard. The next day, he was clean shaven.
So he would have no more than stubble?
Sometimes he'd just go flat out clean shave. So, yeah.
I meant like until he gave up the next home run.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I did want to touch on the Royals a little bit. I didn't really keep up with the Royals this weekend other than final scores. Anything notable to mention about the split with the Cardinals?
Frustrating Friday night in that the bullpen gacked again. Just got destroyed late in the game. and it became 8-5 before it was all said and done. After the Royals had fought back and gotten the game even. Just absolutely frustrating that the bullpen lit it on fire. Saturday's game was Salvi heroics, and it's as simple as that.
And Bobby Witt Jr. being a beast.
Continuing, yes.
He is going to be in the MVP conversation here in a little bit, I think. You're starting to see a little bit of grumblings from the national media. Obviously, right now, Aaron Judge looks to be the favorite. But I think as we get into September, as the Royals continue to potentially near a postseason berth, I think you're going to start to see Bobby Baseball in that talk for AL MVP.
I don't think it's going to do anything to get him past Aaron Judge and his softball stadium.
Somebody put out a graphic. I don't know how true this is. Maybe somebody did all the work and did find this out. But if you took away, like if Aaron Judge didn't play home games at Yankee Stadium, and if you take Bobby Witt Jr. out of Kauffman Stadium and put him, I don't know, I can't remember the whole breakdown, but basically if you just kind of took away Aaron Judge and his home runs at Yankee Stadium and put him in any other ballpark, that only 6 home runs would separate them?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Actually put Judge in a ballpark that has good dimensions, that, actually is a ballpark instead of a softball field.
Well, how big are these next 3 days?
Huge.
Royals, Twins in the Twin Cities, and the Royals are a half game back in the Central and a half game back in the wild card standings to the Twins.
6 more with Minnesota starting tonight. You got a 3-game series in early September, the weekend after Labor Day. If you come out of here with 2 wins at Target Field, that'd be huge, but knowing that the Royals, the way they played at Target Field over the last, I don't know, Troy, 3 or 4 years, yeah, it's going to be tough to see them win 2 out there.
The one aspect of this that I hope that plays a role is that the Twins are coming off of 4 games against the Guardians. They split, but that's high-intensity baseball already right there, as opposed to the Royals having had the off day yesterday. So that's my hope, is that the Twins are maybe a little bit gassed in terms of mentally coming off of the 4 with the Guardians, and that gives the Royals a bit of an edge going in just because of that bit of rest yesterday, for as much as I hated a Sunday afternoon without a ball game.
By the way, this past weekend, Cubs fans probably rooting for the Royals. Now the Royals should root for the Cubs,
yeah,
because the Cubs are playing the Guardians.
Yep.
Playing right now, as a matter of fact.
There was a meme online, the Will Smith meme at the end of Fresh Prince. Kyle Hendricks walking into the Cleveland locker room reminiscing of the 2016 World Series. Nobody on that Cubs team is left.
Jeez.
Is that a 3-game series?
Right.
Yes, 3-game series, all-night games. Cubs have been interesting against the Guardians in recent years, but if you recall, they won 3 of the 4 games at Progressive Field in the World Series in 2016. Not like that matters now, but Cubbies are actually playing some pretty good ball right now. They swept the White Sox, which I know means nothing, over the weekend. Took 2 of 3 from Minnesota. Took 2 out of 3 from, I forgot who they played the weekend before that. But they've been playing good ball right now. Took 3 of 4 from the Cardinals. So they're playing pretty good ball right now. So if I'm a Royals fan, I'm feeling optimistic that the Cubs can get it done in Cleveland, although you never know. So,
all right, we have first pitch at 6:40 on K-Man, Royals and Twins, pregame at the top of the hour. Let's wrap it up with some Ask Us Anything. AJ takes over.
So the defeated Shaw is a little upset that he lost, but my question today, gentlemen, is there a food that you like burnt?
Yes. I have a couple.
Go ahead.
Like pretzels, you get in a bag, like hard pretzels out of a bag.
Ick.
I like them a little toasty.
Okay.
Also, hot dogs. I think hot dogs is the easy one. I like my hot dogs with some seasoning, and I think that's how you season hot dogs. You leave them in the grill, and you just get more. You get more than just the grill marks.
Okay.
You blacken those things. That's how I like my hot dog.
Okay.
Meatloaf. Get that outer shell just right. A little bit of char on that.
Char it a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you like? Because my parents used to do this, and I hated it. You bake the meatloaf with the ketchup on it.
Yes.
Do you like
Yes.
it that way? I don't. I didn't like the taste of the ketchup.
No, it's the seasoning, man.
No, I can't do it.
Again, I put ketchup on my ketchup.
AJ, do you have one?
My philosophy
Yeah,
of
burnt
life.
ends.
Burnt ends. Come on.
Do you actually burn those, though?
Burnt ends are the best.
Okay, I feel like that's cheating a little bit, but
Yes.
I will. I guess I'll accept the answer because
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
accept the-
Well, what I'm doing is I'm throwing you a bone because you lost Stump the Shaw.
We'll get him some brisket from Lincoln Riley.
That just needed to go in the garbage. No, I wouldn't have wasted it. Make some sandwiches out of it or something.
Come up with something, yeah.
I mean,
some
there's not a
sauce
lot
on
of
it.
foods I eat burnt.
No, and I'm not talking like steaks. Like, do you like char on your steaks at all?
Oh, yeah.
I'll do a little bit.
A little bit some once in a while.
Yeah, but I don't go too overboard with it. Boy, I tell you what, there's a lot of foods I just obviously absolutely hate when it gets burnt, like popcorn.
Yeah.
Man,
For sure.
If you're not,
Nope.
if you're doing microwave popcorn, you're not paying attention. You can burn that sucker easily. Mm-hmm. Like that's something I had to teach Lindsay's kids once upon a time. That yes, it's a popcorn button, but you don't always just let it go to the very end
Bingo.
because you're gonna stink up the house.
Oh.
Yep.
No question.
Well, AJ stunk it up in this studio earlier by losing
Okay,
Stump the
we
Shaw,
get the point.
so
I lost by one.
we're gonna go and wrap it up.
I lost by 1 point.
Full 2 hours tomorrow, including Jabroni of the Week. Enjoy Royals baseball coming up in 20 seconds. For AJ, Troy, I'm Mitch. Go Cats.